Can you pass me that book right there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. So you asked, can you tell a story? And this book, it's filled with actual stories from folks. And so, I can just pick up any random page. June 1st, 2023. I couldn't go to the doctor without Paytient in my wallet. I've needed glasses for 4 years. I couldn't afford any, but Paytient has made it possible for me to get some new ones I so desperately needed. Thank you, Paytient. I love being able to make needed appointments and not have to worry about how I would pay for them. The ability to set my own payment amounts and length is so very helpful. I'm so thankful and appreciative how Paytient is to help people. This is a blessing, especially unexpected stuff. The service is a godsend for the first time. For the first time in 20 years, I can go to the eye doctor and dentist. Thank you. I'll be able to see again. It's insane. I would be lost without this option. They've been so easy to work with. Yeah, it provides me peace of mind about affordability while working on my treatment plan with the dentist. What insurance won't cover, I can now finance with low payments each month. You look at this and it just over and over, you hear that it's a feeling, not a financial product. So I think, often when people think about Paytient, they think about how we do what we do, which is helping people better access and afford care. They know that we help people pay for care over time. But that's really not what we're doing. I think it's really important for folks to understand what it is that we're really doing here. And so if you really think about what Paytient is doing, it's enabling access and affordability of healthcare, but importantly, without removing individual responsibility from the equation. There's a part of that the employer is responsible for, but there's a part of healthcare that the employee has individual responsibility and decision-making for, but we need to equip people for that responsibility. We have to give them the means to manage that responsibility well. And what Paytient is doing is it is enabling people to be successful. And when folks are successful, they tend to want more and more responsibility. And that's what ultimately Paytient is doing, it is giving people the means and the ability to successfully manage their part of healthcare. It's getting beyond the who pays and how we pay. And it's more about enabling folks to be the absolute best versions of themselves because they're capable and they're self-sufficient and they're independent to manage responsibility or what they've been entrusted with well. And I think that feeling is delightful. I founded the company in April 2018, and the idea was simple, like, hey, let's improve the out-of-pocket experience. Like, let's wedge into the world and let's step into that void that's in far too many people's purses, pockets, and wallets, and let's give people the means to be able to better access and afford healthcare. We can partner with employers, partner with insurers, create value for them by putting their people into a better place to be able to self-pay for care. I figure we started selling to a few local employers in Columbia, Missouri. We started working with school districts around Columbia. It's a small hospital a little further out in rural Missouri. And within hours of go live at every single one of their employers, people started using Paytient. They would swipe Paytient at the dentist, at the doctor's office, in the ER, the urgent care, for labs, for PT, to pick up prescriptions. And the feedback we got was immediate. The words that people used when they would describe their experience were evocative words, often sacred words. And people say, it's a blessing. I thank God for, the ability that this product exists. Like, those aren't normal things that you hear, particularly as a startup on version 1. My belief was that if we started working with more and more employers, larger and larger, more recognizable employers all across the country, that someday, Paytient will become commonplace, that maybe you would know someone who also has Paytient as a benefit at their employer. I believe that one day, someday, health insurers would actually bundle Paytient either alongside the health plans that they offer or productize, actually build Paytient into the health plans, we were a few years in, and some forward-leaning insurers began to do just that. And so now Paytient is a part of almost 10% of all the ACA plans in the country. There's leading insurers who have built Paytient actually into their health plan, offering to small employers, large employers, to where instead of having the Paytient app, they actually have an insurance card with just a built-in, easier way to pay for the deductible and the copays. And people love it. Employers buy that plan simply to ensure that all of their people are able to easily and effortlessly get care. And there's a benefit to folks getting earlier care. There's a benefit to people being more adherent to their prescriptions, to taking the medicine that their doctor's orders. There's a financial benefit to the employer for those things. And so I thought that would just continue to grow and grow, and that just commercially Paytient will become commonplace. Never in my mind, never in my wildest dreams, and certainly not, at the time we founded the company, did I think that this concept would become a requirement. But that's exactly, what has happened. And so, a law was passed, a couple of years ago called the Medicare Prescription Payment Plan. And that actually requires every single Part D insurer in the country, every single Part D insurer as of January 1, 2025, must offer to the 54 million Americans who have a Part D plan the option to pay their out-of-pocket pharmaceutical expenses over time. Paytient was the first and only company doing exactly this for years. And so we were in a very natural position to be able to, help the nation's insurers with this new responsibility. And so we listened to, what their needs were. And we were very, very fortunate to be entrusted with what is an awesome responsibility of, powering the Medicare Prescription Payment Plan for, nearly half the country. And so today, if you meet two seniors, odds are one of them, if they opt into the Medicare Prescription Payment Plan, is actually using Paytient software to be able to take their medication that their physician has ordered for them. Everybody who's sitting behind me right now wakes up every day with a special sense of pride that they have, knowing that their work today is helping literally millions of people be able to live a healthier, maybe a little bit longer life, and they can actually feel that they're a part of something wonderful that we've made and we've put out into the world. I think that the future version of healthcare is one where people have more control of their future, where people have not just the responsibility of paying for care, they have the ability to pay for care. When responsibility matches your ability, that's where we thrive as a people. It's when those concepts are out of sort. When I'm given more responsibility than my ability, or when I have more ability than the responsibility I have, when there's a gap between those, that's when negative feelings fill in. That's what festers and breeds frustration and anxiety. And I think that's why healthcare affordability, when we think about it and we read about it and we hear, the frustration and pain with paying for care, it's that gap. It's that I'm responsible for something, but that responsibility doesn't match my ability. And so I think what you'll see is true evolution when you bring in the means, when you give people when you fund their ability to pay for care. What will happen is you'll see society transition from paying for care to actually buying care, which sounds weird and foreign and futuristic. But what I mean by that is one, first we have to enable people to pay for care today. We have to ensure that folks are at the table and folks are, feel good about their ability to take care of themselves and their loved ones. As an employer, as an insurer, I want that. I need that. I want people to be able to get care today at the lowest possible price for them and for us, because we share an outcome in their decision making, and I want them to make the best decision for themselves and for us together.